Hello, my name's Scott Davis, and welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of June 30th, 2014, and one keeb of wisdom in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar, with Mercury turning direct in Gemini and the Capricorn Full Moon. June 30th, 2014 is one keeb, or wisdom. It carries the themes of the old ones, ancient memories that wait at sacred sites, protection of universal consciousness, inner strength, shared teachings, the elders, the clearing away of the past like a vulture, forgiveness, making amends, the great sages and keepers of ancient records. They're represented by the vulture or owl. This is a time for releasing the past through forgiveness, which creates a grateful heart space to receive the wisdom of the ancients. The next 13 days is about surrendering something that is no longer serves to make room for transformation. It's a time to forgive others and ask for forgiveness, not only from individuals, but also from our Mother Earth. Since we're beginning a new Gregorian month during this Trecena, I thought I'd discuss the metaphysics of the upcoming month. July is the 7th month, and with the digits of 2014, when we add them all together, we get 14, and then we add the 1 and the 4, and that tells us that we are in the 14-5 month in numerology. Basic numerology reduces numbers to 1 through 9. So when we think about this arc, the 5 represents a time of major shifts and breakthroughs, as the 5 represents the peak of the numerological cycle, such as reaching the top of the mountain and having a view of the upcoming descent down the other side of a 9-month cycle. Mars is in Libra and is moving forward with momentum, and Mercury turns direct on the 1st. It also supports the implementation of a new direction based on information and experiences that we were exposed to in June. A 5-month brings new opportunities, options, and choices through our creativity. The 14-5 combination are represented by the art, temperance, and Hierophant in the tarot cards, which is about integration of opposites to discover the ground that transcends them both, which we bring forth as teachers who learn from what we share and the experiences of those who honor us by implementing our guidance in their lives. Ken Wilber quote, this Ken Wilber quote from No Boundaries provides a description of the art temperance archetype. The point is to unify and harmonize opposites, both positive and negative, by discovering the ground that transcends them both. And then from A Course in Miracles comes this quote for the Hierophant. As you teach, so you will learn. If this is true, and it is true indeed, don't forget that what you teach is teaching you. So July represents a breakthrough on many levels, including integrating opposites and learning through teaching. As we begin, before I get into the daily energy for one keeb or wisdom, on the 30th, all the planets appear to be moving forward from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exception of Mercury and Saturn, Chiron, Neptune, and Pluto. And Mercury turned retrograde on June 7th. It's turning direct during this Trecena on July 1st. So the beginning of the Trecena is a good time to avoid signing contracts or other legal papers, making any major purchases, or even taking a new job. If you can postpone those types of activities, the terms are going to be much clearer when Mercury is moving direct. Mercury retrogrades force us to slow down and pay attention to our lives by making us focus on the details of our daily experience. And then Saturn turned retrograde on March 2nd. And the themes of Saturn in Scorpio are loss, depression, failure, the shadow, betrayal. Saturn retrogrades can be a real taskmaster, demanding that we take responsibility to review the scorpionic themes such as motives, ethics, and intentions. And so if we've not been clear about these subjects, we're likely to feel our burden is heavier than the load we previously agreed to carry. until Saturn then turns direct on July 20th. Chiron retrograde in Pisces is about releasing stuck emotional energy so that we can return to the natural flow of life. And then Neptune turned retrograde on June 9th. Neptune is in its own sign of Pisces and is seeking to transcendence through spiritual experiences. So this is a time to use spiritual practices to keep us grounded as we expand our intuition and consciousness. This is going to be important to nurture this kind of energy because we're in the middle of this 4 years of challenging Uranus-Pluto squares that have been affecting us as collectives and as individuals. So really putting some time into spiritual pursuits helps keep us grounded as these other transits are really making things difficult for many of us. And then Pluto represents death, completion, and it's in Capricorn, which is the breakdown of structures to bring transformation. Pluto in Capricorn is determined in exposing the darkness and destroying the old order so that we can rise up like a phoenix from the ashes and soar again. Capricorn is about large structures, including banks, governments, corporations, or religions. This is a time of a cosmic course correction for the entire planet. So let's look at the daily vibrational energy. June 30th is 1 keeb or wisdom. This is unity experienced through introspection and meditation and forgiveness in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. I'm not going to be covering the daily lunar activities in this report other than new moons and full moons. That information is available on the New World Birth Facebook page and on the blogger New World Birth blog. July 1st is 2 Kaban or Earth. This is a duality experience through gratitude for Mother Earth, while Mercury turns direct at 24 degrees of Gemini, which will bring forward the information that brings us a new sense of a course correction to heading in the right direction. This is going to be an important shift because this happens when we're beginning a new numerological 5-month of breakthrough and freedom from the past as Mercury begins to move forward from the point it crossed back in May 23rd, when we began to collect information regarding a major change that is to be implemented as Mercury begins its moving forward again. The time period from when Mercury turned retrograde on June 7th and it turns direct on July 1st has given us events to further illustrate changes that were being called for. It's going to take a few days for Mercury to build up momentum, but the seeds for this course correction have been planted. And then on July 2nd, it's 3 Etsnob or Flint. It's about taking action through being introspective in the Tzolkin calendar. The 3rd is 4 Kawak or Storm, stability through recognizing the gifts in adversity. July 4th is 5 Ahau or Sun, empowerment through honoring the wisdom and memory of the ancestors. And we have the Sun in opposition to Pluto from our perspective here on the Earth. So this is a 180-degree angle, and it colors the day's energy, which can cause rather intense encounters with others or circumstances that expose something that was hidden or that we chose to ignore for the purpose of transforming an old, worn-out pattern that can no longer serve us. This indicates power struggles with others, particularly people in authority. This is a day has the hallmark of relationship difficulties that possibly could lead to breakups. You may want to keep this in mind rather than trying to have to repair the damage of the July 4th words and deeds later on down the road. Overall, we're talking about transformation on some level as a shift is required away from doing things the same old way. And the Cancer Capricorn axis brings tensions related to balancing home and family with career and the responsibilities of the outer world. And this shift requires major transformation, where outer power reflects inner power, where transparency and integrity are key. And this is particularly important in the United States, as the national solar return occurs at this time. And I did the solar return chart for the United States here. Um, and so just like doing a solar return chart for a person, we can look at a nation's solar return chart to forecast the themes of events for the upcoming year. And I use Ebenezer Sibley's chart for the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is July 4th, 1776, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at 5:10 p.m. So when we look at the chart, we've got the sun. It's in Cancer. It's at 13 degrees 19 minutes, so it's conjunct where it was when the Declaration of Independence was signed. And it's tightly opposing Pluto in Capricorn and in a square to Uranus up here in Aries. So when I think about these energies, this is chaos and darkness are some of these themes. And although Jupiter in Cancer has moved past the point where it was, activating and be part of that cardinal grand cross that we talked about a lot in April, the sun in Cancer is filling that gap, and so is the USA solar return sun filling that gap of interacting with that cardinal grand cross. But what I find really interesting about this is that there's two yods, and yods are what we call fingers of fate. We've got Saturn and Pluto pointing over here at where the finger points to Venus here in Gemini, and then the other one is Venus in Gemini and a sextile to Uranus pointing down here at Saturn in Scorpio. So these two yods are found in the solar return chart. So basically, yod is you've got a sextile between two planets. They're 60 degrees apart, forming a 150 degree uncomfortable angle, both of them pointing at another planet. So the solar return chart, it has I did it for Washington D.C. and it has it has a 14 degree ascendant, 14 degrees of Cancer ascendant, which means that the sun is conjunct the ascendant in the 12th house, and that Pluto is conjunct the descendant over here in the 6th house. So what does all this mean? Well, we've got the sun, Mercury, and Venus in the 12th house. This brings a great deal of energy to the USA space in the world from a place of self-undoing and sorrow and secret enemies. Opposed to Pluto, it's a transformation here in the 6th house. The Pluto's transformation, the themes of what's being transformed, health and service in the United States solar return chart. Pluto in Capricorn, it's about death and rebirth of structures that have outgrown their usefulness, particularly governments, corporations, and religions. And then Saturn is one of those points of the yods, and with Saturn in the 5th house, this is about limitations to the country's creativity to address unexpected money issues, which come from unexpected being Uranus, money issues being Venus here in the 12th. So this really because when you think about it, it's like a dowsing rod, and Venus holds one handle and Uranus holds the other, and what it's being doused, where it's being pointed at, is Saturn in this particular yod. And then the other one, the handles are Saturn's limitation in one hand and Pluto's transformation through death and rebirth, and this one's pointing at Venus, which rules money as well as relationships in the 12th house. So again, indicating that the USA will experience a financial self-undoing over the next year due to secrets that are exposed and brought to the surface with Pluto's involvement. Uranus in Aries, up at the top of the chart, up here in the 10th house, it is opposing the Moon and Mars in Libra at the bottom of the chart in the 4th house. So so both of those are in a square. So again, we have this cardinal grand crosses return, particularly in the solar return chart for the USA, and so when I think about Uranus in the 10th, I think that the United States government and people are going to experience a major upheaval as to how they're seen around the globe. And then we've got, and then the 5th of July is 6 Emish, or crocodile, being in the flow through nurturing new beginnings. In the Tzolkin, July 6th is 7 Eek, or wind, reflection through communication. The 7th is 8 Akbal, or night, balance through contemplating the stars. And we have Venus in a sextile to Uranus. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this forms a 60-degree angle. The day seeks excitement outside of our daily routines. It stimulates new interactions with people who can fascinate us. But be aware that romances begun under a transit like this may not be long lasting, even though at this time they seem pleasantly electrifying. And then great energy. So this is really the Venus sextile Uranus is great energy for a fling with friends or a party. Folks will have more freedom seeking in their relationship. So this transit really doesn't favor being clingy, possessive, or jealous. Allow loved ones more leeway and flexibility, and this could greatly broaden your understanding of your partners and friends, and in doing so, gain some new insights into yourself. And then July 8th is 9 Con, or seed, or lizard. This is patience experience through planting new seeds and making new connections, where we have the sun in a square to Uranus. So that would be like I said, forms a 90-degree angle from our perspective here on Earth, and the sun is in a trine to Saturn also on that day, so 120-degree angle. So we'll start with the sun square Uranus. Is continuing to activate the T-square of opposing Pluto, while directing its opposition towards Uranus. This can bring sudden upsets or behavior that is upsetting to others. It's a day to expect the unexpected, such as cars breaking down unexpectedly, or a sudden ending of a relationship, or an argument that begins out of nowhere, or other disruptive events that could not be foreseen. And then also on the 8th, we have the sun in a trine to Saturn. When the sun is supported by Saturn, we have a great opportunity to learn something about ourselves through our relationship with and our effect on our environments. This brings out close relationships between who you are and what you do. And then the 9th, we have Ten Chan, or serpent, manifestation through being flexible in the mind Tzolkin calendar. July 10th is 11 Kimi, or transformation, resolution through releasing what no longer serves us. The 11th is 12 Manik, or deer, understanding through being of service to others. And July 12th is 13 Lamat, or star or rabbit, which is movement to the next stage through being grateful for abundant relationships. And on the 12th, we have the Capricorn Full Moon at 20 degrees, opposing the Cancer Sun, and Jupiter in late Cancer, and being challenged by Uranus and Mars, and in harmony with Saturn. And full moons are a time of tension, as the Sun in Cancer is about balancing security, home, and the family, with the Moon in Capricorn representing work and productivity. The day is a mix of high level of energy that we have with full moons, with the themes of folks acting hasty and jumping to conclusions that may not be correct, and also another theme is wanting to be alone in our thoughts and feelings. Another theme is people are being irritable, which could lead to needless disputes when it's dancing with Mars. And then we have feelings of generosity with the Jupiter opposition. So no matter how these energies are affecting you during the one Wisdom Tzolkin, take some time to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just really being conscious when you're with somebody you love, because every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what dramas beckon to distract us. We're all here giving the performance of our lifetime on the world stage. Just take some time to observe the play as well as act your part by remembering you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on July 13th of 2014 for one Maluk, or offering, with Mercury moving into Cancer, Jupiter entering Leo, Venus also moving into Cancer, Saturn moving direct, Uranus turning retrograde, the Sun entering Leo, and Mars moving into Scorpio. It's going to be a busy report on that one. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mayan Magics webpage, because there's New World Birth pages at each one of those places. And I encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. I'm going to be discussing the metaphysics of July 2014 and in much more depth. And I'll be doing some short human design readings to the participants of the Earth Needs Rebels show on Truth Frequency Radio on July 1st, which is a Tuesday. The show begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I come on at 1:30 and it goes to 3. As always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading. I am providing readings and wish to make the service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation, and these readings are epic. They usually are at least 2 hours long, and they're designed to provide information to help you navigate these difficult times. At the basic level, we look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your unique design. I'll include the next 3 months of astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrology chart, along with the human design reading at the middle level. At the top level, the human design and astrology transit reading will be recorded and sent to you on an MP3 that can be downloaded to your computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I'd love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You're going to either need to be able to call me in Maine, in the USA, or we can connect on Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to help keep these reports freely available, but the best way that you can make a donation is get a reading. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you, whether it's in another video or in a reading or on the radio show. So thanks for your attention and awareness of these videos, and um, thanks for everything. Peace, everybody.